What do you think could have befallen my tío, Profesora Sigüenza? It's these accursed libros de caballerías he has. For now I remember him often saying to himself that he would turn out caballero andante and go all over the world in search of aventuras.
You must know it was often my tío's way to spend 2 days and nights together poring over these unholy books of misadventures.
¿Qué haría después?
Well, he would fling the book away, snatch up his sword, slash the walls, and when he was tired out, he would say he had quilled cuatro gigantes como cuatro torres.
¿Pero qué? No entiendo. ¿Cómo crees que le pasó esto a tu tío?
Yo me tengo la culpa de todo for never having told my tío's friends of his quirks. Maybe then they could have put a stop to it.
May these accursed books be condemned to the trash heap, lest they lead those that read them to behave as my good friend seems to have behaved.
Ténganse todos, for I am badly wounded, through the fault of my caballo.
Mira, no hora más! Did not my heart tell the truth? To bed with you at once!
We put a host of questions to Don Quixote, but his only answer to all of us was,
Give me something to eat and leave me to sleep, for that is what I need most.
Don Quixote was still sleeping. So the professora asked his niece for the keys of the room where the books were, the authors of all the mischief, and right willingly, she gave them to her.
We all went in and found more than 100 or more volumes of books very well bound, and some other small ones.
Here, Profesora? Don't leave any encantador of the many that are in these books to bewitch us in revenge!
Give me the books one by one, so we can see what they're about. There might be some that do not deserve the penalty.
No! There is no reason for showing mercy to any of them! Mejor será arrojarlos por las ventanas!
¿Qué libros encontraron?
4 books of Amadis of Gaul.
Oh, this was the first book of caballeria printed in Spain. And from this, all the others derive their birth and origin. Huh.
Hey, Professora. I heard him say that this is the best of all. It ought to be pardoned.
True. For that reason, let its life be spared. For the present?
The Surgas de Esplandian. Amadis of Greece. And indeed, I believe all those on this side are of the same Amadis lineage.
Proceed.
I'm of the same mind.
And so am I.
Oh, in that case...
But what book is that next to it?
Galatea of Miguel Cervantes.
Oh, that Cervantes has been a good friend of mine for many years. To my knowledge, he is well versed in misfortunes. Not much in verse.
His book has some good invention in it. It presents us with something, but brings nothing to a conclusion.
We have to wait for the second part it promises.
Perhaps with amendment, it may succeed in winning the full mercy that is now denied it.
In the meantime, Senor Gossip, keep it shut up in your own quarters.
¿Y es cierto que luego comenzó a dar voces, Don Quixote?
He was already out of bed and shouting and raving and slashing and cutting all around.
Tan despierto como si nunca hubiera dormido.
We wrangled with him and with force put him back to bed.
We did as he wished. We gave him something to eat.
And once more he fell asleep, leaving us to marvel at his madness.
Entonces, ¿se quedó en casa?
That night, I burned to ashes all the books that were in the yard and in the whole house. 2 days later, the first thing my tío did when he got up was to go and look for his libros, and Without finding them, he wandered from side to side, looking.
After a good while, he asked his niece whereabouts were his books.
She had already been well instructed in what to say.
Todo se lo llevó el mismo diablo.
Ese es un sabio encantador. Grande enemigo mío.
¿Quién duda de estos? But, tío, would it not be better to remain at peace in your own house?
Oh, sobrina mia, how much astray art thou in thy reckoning?
Entonces, ¿se quedó en casa?
15 días.
Very quietly, without showing any signs of a desire to take up with his former delusions.
In these days, he held lively discussions with us.
He maintained that caballeros andantes was what the world stood most in need of.
And that he accomplished the revival of caballeria andantesca. Meanwhile, without our knowledge, Don Quixote worked upon a farm labor, a neighbor of his, an honest man, but with very little brains. In a word, he so talked him over, and with such persuasions and promises, that the poor clown made up his mind to sally forth with him and serve as his escudero.
Decíale Don Quijote, entre otras cosas, que se dispusiese a ir con él de buena gana, porque tal vez le pudiera suceder aventura que le ganase alguna ínsula que le pudiera ser gobernador de ella.
Con estas promesas y otros tales, Sancho Panza dejó la Mancha y asentó por escudero de su vecino.
Mire, vuestra merced, que no se le olvide lo que de la ínsula, que me tiene prometido.
Thou must know, amigo Sancho Panza, that it was the practice to make escuderos governors of the insulas or kingdoms they won. Te prometo. For there you see, amigo Sancho Panza, 30 or more enormous gigantes with whom I intend to do battle.
¿Qué? ¿Gigantes?
Aquellos que ahí ves.
Mira, vuestra merced, que aquellos no son gigantes, sino molinos de viento.
Bien parece que no estás cursado en esto de las aventuras.
¿No le dije yo a vuestra merced que mirase bien lo que hacía? ¡Que no eran sino molinos de viento!
Calla, amigo Sancho. Matters of war, more than any others, are subject to continual change. Moreover, I think that same devil who stole my books has turned these gigantes into molinos de viento in order to deprive me of the glory of defeating them. But in the end, his evil arts will not prevail against the virtue of my espada.
Sea vuestra merced servido, señor Don Quijote mío. Le dame la ínsula de esta vigorosa pendencia que se ha ganado.
Thou must take notice, hermano Sancho, that this aventura and those like it are not aventuras de insulas, but of encrucijadas, in which nothing is got except a broken head or a lost ear. Have patience, for more aventuras will present themselves.
Deseosos de buscar dónde alojar aquella noche, acabaron con mucha brevedad su pobre y seca comida. Subieron luego a caballo y diéronse priesa por llegar al poblado antes que anocheciese.